All right, let's jump right into this. Picture this. You're sitting in front of the TV on a Saturday morning, and you have this vague, kind of hazy memory of a cartoon featuring giant mutant cows. They're wearing cowboy hats, they're shooting guns that fire sheriff stars, and they're battling corrupt bull politicians. Sounds crazy, right? Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are cracking open the vault on a major pop culture mystery and revisiting one of the absolute wildest eras in television animation. I know exactly what you might be thinking. Wait, did I just hallucinate that? For decades, literally millions of us millennial kids thought we completely made this show up. It just felt like a fever dream born out of that chaotic, sugar-fueled landscape of 90s television. But I am here to validate your nostalgia right now. You didn't hallucinate a thing. This was a real, beautifully animated, action-packed series called Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa, and it hit ABC's Saturday morning lineup in the fall of 1992. Now, to really appreciate this, we have to look at the era. During the late 80s and early 90s, television networks were absolutely desperate to replicate the multi-billion-dollar success of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This kicked off what we call the anthropomorphic action gold rush. We got everything from samurai pizza cats to biker mice from Mars, and of course, street sharks. It was an incredibly crowded market, just full of clones trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice. But here's the thing. Moo Mesa actually had a secret, legitimate advantage over the rest of the herd.
Which brings us to a huge curiosity loop that we absolutely need to close. How on earth did a cartoon about gunslinging cows share actual, legitimate DNA with the mutant turtles themselves? Because at first glance, it really does just look like another shameless network cash grab, doesn't it? But the truth behind the scenes is so much more fascinating.
The answer comes down to one guy, Ryan Brown. If you know your comic book history, you know Ryan Brown is an absolute legend. He worked incredibly closely on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics at Mirage Studios and Archie Comics. And not only that, he actually designed many of the iconic TMNT action figures for Playmates toys. Because of Brown's deep background in anthropomorphic character design, Moo Mesa just completely bypassed that cheap knockoff feeling. It had stellar character designs, a ridiculously catchy theme song, and real pop culture pedigree.
Okay, so we've got the pedigree, but we absolutely have to talk about the lore here because it is delightfully unhinged.
To really get this show, you have to understand one of the most hilariously absurd origin stories in animation history. So, according to the intro, back in the late 19th century, an irradiated comet, which the show perfectly dubs a cowmet, strikes the Western Plains. The impact is so intense it raises a massive, miles-high mesa straight up into the clouds, totally isolating it from the rest of the world. Everything trapped on top was bathed in radioactive light, instantly evolving the resident animals into a boviomorphic or bipedal talking state. Inspired by the human Wild West they'd observed before the strike, they built this sprawling bovine society, complete with saloons, gold mines, and high noon showdowns. And they treat this premise with total mock historical seriousness. It is fantastic.
Naturally, a new frontier needs protection, right? So a group of peacekeepers emerges, and you just have to respect their absolute dedication to cattle wordplay. C.O.W. is an acronym. It literally stands for Code of the West. These cowboys are the ones who step up when the local law enforcement gets corrupt, dedicating their lives to protecting the innocent citizens of the Mesa.
Let's meet our main trio of law cows. First up, we have Marshal Moo Montana, the courageous leader who literally shoots physical metallic star badges from his gun. Then there's the Dakota Dude. He's the gentle giant and muscle of the group, known for an incredibly cool temper. He rarely gets mad unless his friends are in danger. Finally, we have the Cowlorado Kid, the smooth-talking rookie who thinks he's quite the ladies' man. Also, quick side note, notice that they all ride trusty, non-mutated horses? That means, in this universe, there are regular animals, and then there are the mutated citizens of the Mesa. It's a hilarious double standard, but the show just runs with it.
But of course, when animals emulate humanity, they take the bad with the good. Enter Cowtown's corrupt elite. On one side, we have Mayor Oscar Baloney, your classic greedy politician rigging elections and raising taxes. On the other side is his hand-picked lawman, Sheriff Terrible. But here is the twist. Sheriff Terrible leads a secret double life as the notorious outlaw, the Masked Bull, committing crimes right under the mayor's orders. It's classic Western corruption, perfectly wrapped up in a Saturday morning cartoon format.
So we have this incredible world and fun characters. But how did that translate into the real world? The merch and the games are where this franchise really cemented itself.
Because of Ryan Brown's background in toy design, Moo Mesa didn't just have a cartoon, it was actually preceded by an amazing toy line. Back in 1991, Hasbro dropped 10 highly creative figures that truly rivaled the Ninja Turtles. But the absolute crown jewel was the Iron Horse. This was a steampunk-style train vehicle featuring a literal bean-shooting cannon mounted right on the front. Yes, you heard that right, it weaponized beans. It had protective boilerplate armor, chili powder pistons. Kids absolutely lost their minds over this thing.
Now, as you might expect, not everyone was on board. In 1992, Entertainment Weekly dropped a completely savage review, calling the show a real bum steer and giving it an utterly dull kid TV D-. Honestly, the critics completely missed the fun, the action, and the clever tongue-in-cheek humor that made the show so memorable. But despite the adults totally panning it, the franchise found another, even better way to immortalize itself.
Its true legacy lived on in the arcades. In 1992, gaming giant Konami released the official 4-player side-scrolling run-and-gun Moo Mesa arcade cabinet. Now, if you are a retro gamer, you know how huge this is. Konami built this game on the exact same engine as their legendary Western game Sunset Riders. We're talking beautiful 16-bit pixel art, buttery smooth animations, and massive screen-filling bosses. Honestly, a lot of people actually remember playing this arcade masterpiece way more vividly than they remember watching the cartoon.
So why did it vanish? Well, the cartoon only ran for 2 seasons, just 26 episodes, before the market just became completely oversaturated with mutant animal clones and parents got tired of the toy commercials. But the franchise had incredible legs, from the 91 toys to the 92 cartoon and arcade game, all the way to 2006 and 2007, where we got official crossovers with the Ninja Turtles in both television and comics. And the story actually doesn't stop there. Recently, Moo Mesa experienced a massive cult resurgence. The brand was officially revived by the Nacelle Company with premium, highly articulated action figures, plus an acclaimed modern comic book series. Ryan Brown's characters are literally back on the shelves for a whole new generation.
Oh, and speaking of that 2006 TV crossover, there is a hilarious behind-the-scenes story you have to hear. In the TMNT episode Home Invasion, the Turtles get transported to Moo Mesa in a simulation. But when they arrive, they actually end up fighting the C.O.W. boys instead of the bad guys. Why did this happen? Well, Ryan Brown provided multiple character designs to the animation studio, all properly labeled as heroes and villains, but thanks to a massive production crunch and super tight deadlines, the animators literally just used the wrong designs. The Turtles were never supposed to fight the good guys, but there was zero time to fix it before it aired. Just a perfect little piece of messy animation history.
And the cultural impact of this show pops up in the absolute most unexpected places. Take a look at this quote from Tad Prescott, the brother of Dallas Cowboys NFL quarterback Dak Prescott. They have another brother named Rain Dakota Prescott. So where did that name come from? Tad explained that their mother just loved the Moo Mesa cartoon and her favorite character was the gentle giant Dakota Dude. She wanted a strong boy, so she named him after the strongest bull on Moo Mesa. That is an amazing real-world legacy, proving this show quietly impacted a whole generation in ways we'd never even guess.
Which really brings us to our final thought. The 90s were this incredible era of wildly creative, risk-taking animation. I mean, an idea as beautifully absurd as a radioactive cowmet mutating cattle into gunslinging lawmen somehow got a toy line, an arcade game, and prime Saturday morning real estate. In today's landscape of incredibly safe, predictable reboots, even as modern toy aisles are finally welcoming these specific characters back, you kind of have to wonder, will we ever see a creative risk like this strike again? What once felt like a collective childhood hallucination was actually a total masterpiece at its time. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes peeled for those cowmets, and I'll catch you next time.